Welcome back to Dad Life. Out in the country today, thought we'd change it up a little bit. My name is Kevin. Thank you for joining. Thank you for checking this video out. If you're into new parenting tips, stuff like that, please consider subscribing to Dad Life. If not, that's okay too. Mandatory plug for my other channel, Schill Brothers Outdoors. If you're into like backpacking, hiking, camping, anything outside, I do a lot of buffoonery with my brother. Please check that out. I'll throw a link right up there. So, you just had a kid, tons of stuff running through your mind. What do I do next? What do you have to do? Well, there's a ton of stuff you have to do, but today's video is all about 5 things, and it's actually 6 things, because I thought of another one. 6 things that you should consider doing like immediately after you have the kid. Now, once you have a kid, you know, the first like hour is gonna be time for just you, your partner, your child, just to like bond and get over like the craziness that is delivery. Don't do anything during that time. Take that time, enjoy it. There's never anything like that. You know, your child just been delivered, you're there with, you know, your partner, and enjoy that moment. Don't do any of these things during that time. But shortly thereafter, when you're in the hospital, consider doing some of these things. So first, you know, enjoy the moment. There's nothing quite like it. And once that passed, start ticking off some of these on your checklist. First thing to do, and this is a bunch of clerical items I've kind of put into one thing, but once you have a child, they're gonna give you a bunch of paperwork to get things like birth certificates and social security cards. Do that stuff right away because it takes time to get those, and consider getting duplicate copies of both of those things, both the birth certificate and the social security card. Those 2 pieces of legal documents are quite literally the only thing that legally prove you just had a child. Other than the hospital has a proof of birth, but other than that, those are the things that like show that you have a baby. So fill out the paperwork to get them immediately. Consider getting multiple copies of each of those things. That's what I did. And if you have something like a safety deposit box, store the duplicate copies somewhere else. It is a pain in the butt. I mean, it's just a bunch of paperwork and potentially phone calls to get those things after the fact, you know, to get an extra copy of the social security card, an extra copy of the birth certificate. It just is a pain. Get multiple copies. They do cost like 10 to 20 bucks a piece, but just get them up front. Last clerical thing, that take my advice, do this immediately. You know, do this when you're in the hospital. Add your child to your health insurance plan. Now, you don't have to. I didn't, but it caused a headache. You know, they can retroactively give coverage to your child, but what that's gonna entail is they're gonna have to rebill a bunch of claims, and you're gonna have to call people, and it's a big pain in the butt. Your child will start accruing medical bills instantly, and you'll also go to the pediatrician very, very closely after birth. And they're gonna start billing stuff in your kid's name. And if your child is not on your insurance plan, obviously they're gonna bill you the full amount. It's not like you have to pay it. They'll backdate coverage, but you're gonna have to go get a bunch of stuff rebilled, and that's a pain in the butt. So just get multiple copies of the birth certificate, potentially multiple copies of the social security card, and add your kid to your health insurance immediately. Second thing to do, this is a super easy one. Register an email address to your child's name. It can be whatever your email provider of choice is. So it's good from a professional sense to have them get an email that's like their full name. That looks good on resumes, that sort of stuff. B, what you can do, which a lot of people do, which is a pretty cool idea, is you can start emailing things to that email address. So pictures, notes, like anything that is cool. I mean, how cool would that be when you turn 18, you get the email password to this email, and you just load it up, and you've got like a whole biography of your life in like a Gmail. That's pretty cool. Now, I'm gonna say this with the clapping hands. Check the email retention policies of whatever email provider you're using, because what will be terrible is if they only have a 5 or 10 year policy and you load that thing up with 18 years of stuff and it's all gone. So get an email for your child, start sending stuff to it, and check the retention policies of it. Third thing you should do immediately, and you can't really do this in the hospital, and if you have some sort of heads up that your wife is going into labor and you've got time at home before you go to the hospital, or your wife's getting induced, clear out some freezer space. There's going to be a lot of things that go in your freezer, and I'm not even saying breast milk. When your wife gets done delivering, she's going to need all sorts of frozen things all over her body to help her heal. So like literally my freezer is filled with two things: a bunch of sweet smoked barbecue food and a bunch of baby stuff. So frozen breast milk, frozen pads that go everywhere, there's all this frozen stuff. So clear out some room in your freezer. You're going to need it. Eat all that tasty barbecue you've cooked, because if you are breastfeeding, you're gonna have tons of breast milk in there. And you won't start accruing breast milk right away, but certainly the post-delivery frozen pads, like my freezer was filled with like boob pads and maxi pads and frozen things and all sorts of frozen stuff to help my wife recover from delivery. And now it's filled with breast milk in addition to those things. Fourth thing, this is a plug. Check out my essential items video. There are many things you can buy that aren't super expensive that will make your life super easier, like right when you get home from the hospital. And some things you might even consider taking to the hospital with you, like a good nursing light and a white noise generator, and like a wipe dispenser. Just get some essential items for dealing with a newborn and like dealing with it like right when you get home from the hospital. So things like a really good nursing light, really good white noise setup, good swaddles. So check out my essential items video, and when you're in the hospital, just get on your phone on Amazon. You don't have to get the items I got, but if you haven't already, consider like purchasing some of those items so they're ready for you when you get home from the hospital. Next thing you should consider doing like immediately, and you know, if you're a dad watching this, you can't do it, but if you're a mom watching this, and I call this channel Dad Life, but it's really like new parent life, but consider starting to pump like soon. Now, some people pump in the hospital. It just depends. You know, some women can't pump at all, some women can pump a ton, most people probably fall in the middle. Take the pump with you to the hospital, considering starting to pump when you're in the hospital, depending for how long you're there. But the reason I say start pumping as soon as possible, and as soon as possible is going to be totally different depending on you and your body and your baby, but the sooner you start pumping, the sooner you can start accruing a cache of breast milk, and the sooner you can stop, you know, latching to feed. I mean, you'll probably still do that, but the more milk you accrue, just the more freedom you have as a dad and a mom. Last thing you should do, and this is not something you can do immediately, but the sooner you do it, the better, and that is start a 529 plan for your child. Now, if you don't know what a 529 plan is, it's a college savings investment account. It's hard for me to give advice on this for two reasons. One, I'm not a certified financial planner, and two, the regulations for 529 plans differ between the state. But the goal of a 529 plan is, you know, as a parent, I put money into it. That's a tax write-off, so it's a tax haven. And also it accrues interest and compounds. So it's a great way to start saving for your child's college. And if your child doesn't go to college or gets a scholarship, you can roll it into your own retirement account, so it's not wasted money. Additionally, you can give people a little link and they can donate to it. So instead of maybe getting some stupid stuff for the first couple birthdays that you will ultimately get rid of, you can say, hey grandma, hey grandpa, just send this link, put 20 bucks in the 529. And you don't have to start it with anything more than $20 or $30. But by and large, over the next 18 years, the stock market's gonna go up. Might only go up a little bit, but it's gonna go up. So it's never too early to start investing. You cannot generally set those up until you get the social security number of your child, which will take 1 to 2 weeks. So you can't do it immediately, but the second you get a social security number and a social security card, just put 50 bucks in a 529, you know, check out, do your research. You might live in a state where you have multiple 529 options. I don't live in a state that has that. I got one option, so it's pretty easy, but please set up a 529. I mean, just freaking imagine how expensive college is going to be 18 years from when you're watching this video. I mean, tuition's going up exponentially. It's never too early to start saving for college. You can roll it into an IRA or some other retirement account if you don't end up needing it for your kid. It's tax deductible. You can get people to donate to it. just do it. Set it up. It doesn't cost anything to set it up. Get your 529 plans. Your future, you know, potentially if they want to go to college, they will thank you because you won't saddle them with debt. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching. You know, my baby is a couple months old now, and I like to reflect and I like to think about, you know, what did I learn and what can I do to help new parents. You know, we had a baby during a coronavirus pandemic. We didn't go to any classes. We watched some YouTube videos and we asked people questions, and I wish more videos like this would have existed. So that's it. Consider doing some or all of these things and immediately after your baby is born, especially the insurance thing. It will save you headache in the long run. That is it for dad life. Thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying the journey of being a new parent, and we'll see everybody on the next video. Peace out, parents.